Hey, how's it going everyone? Justin again, as always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today we're talking about the benefits of having a really good scan tool. I myself have owned many of scan tools and I've gone through my fair share of them, doing reviews and things like that. Over the last 3 or 4 years now, I've tried out numerous scan tools, but I found one in particular that I favor over all of them. And it's not just because I own it, but it took me a long time to actually find certain capabilities and certain things that I was looking at a scan tool that just seem to work better for me. But if you're looking for other variety of scan tool reviews, make sure you check out my boy Frank M Tech, who has a 2-part series on the scan tools that he has. That being said, let's roll right into it. Alright, so in front of me I have the Solus Edge. It's one of the newer Solus platforms that's come out. We're going to do a power up cycle here so you guys can see how long it takes for the tool to power up. And then we'll cover some of the things that this scan tool actually can and cannot do. So you can see the power up cycle is actually relatively quick. There is a new software update available for this scan tool. It will ask you sometimes when you open the screen up for the first time in like a couple of days, it'll prompt you and let you know that a software update is available. You can bypass that just by hitting snooze for 1 week. So if we go into OBD2, we got a health check here, or you can go into direct OBD2. We're not hooked up to a vehicle right now, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to let us. We'll go into the training mode just so you guys can see how this particular system operates. Start communication. And so it gives us a random VIN. This is for the training module. We'll hit OK. It is touchscreen. If you guys ever run into a situation where the touchscreen feature isn't working, maybe you have a software update available and it causes a glitch from time to time, I've found out that if you just power the scan tool off and power it back on, that the touchscreen is reinstated. So I'm not sure why it does that. It's a feature that I think Snap-on needs to address. If we go into readiness monitors, we can check the monitors for this drive cycle or since the DTC was last cleared. This will give us an option here. It'll let us know that the tests either are not complete or they are complete. One of the tests that you don't have to have complete is like the evaporative test. That's one of those things that you can get around. I'm not a smog tech. I just know that's one of the monitors that doesn't necessarily need to run in order to pass smog. So that can be beneficial to you as a tech if you're trying to make sure that all the monitors are ran as to which monitors you actually need to have run in order for the smog to get completed, or which monitors that haven't run that need to be completed before you can get it smogged. We'll go back here into the beginning of this thing. There's also fast track troubleshooter, which can be pretty beneficial. What this does is that if you're checking for codes and you need test procedures, you can go into here and it'll give you P00, whatever the code is. You can get the DTC list. If you have an error issue or you have a fuel issue, you can go into one of those codes. If you have like a P0420 code or something like that, you can go into here and we can check it out. So with that being said, we'll just scroll down until we get to that specific code and see what kind of tips it gives us. So going here, it shows us that possible causes are, there's none, that they have a faulty catalytic converter, or an open or a short in the circuit, or possibly a faulty O2 sensor. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let me zoom in real quick. So those are our possible faults there. If you're looking for that specific code, those are the kind of tips that it can give you in the fast track troubleshooter. We can come back. It gives you a DC tip list. It'll also give you code information. So you can check here if it's a body code, a chassis code, if it's a powertrain code, or a network code. It'll let you know what each one of them stands for and what the other digits are for. And you can scroll through that and check that out on your own as well. So that can be kind of beneficial and handy. We can go into tests and procedures, drive cycle procedures, generic drive cycle. So if you're trying to get monitors to set, this might be a handy feature for you guys to use in order to get those monitors to set. So here it'll actually give us the procedure of what it recommends doing in order to get the emission codes to clear and so forth. And it'll give you a few different test parameters. There's 3 different styles of tests that you can do. Rear window defroster, things like that, which can help aid you in actually completing a drive cycle or trying to get the monitors to set. So that's kind of handy. And we'll back out to the main screen here. It'll give you mil status. You can check the mil status to see what kind of codes that you have. Mil lamp is off. You don't have to worry about any check engine lights on this training portion, so that's kind of cool. It'll give you display data, display trouble codes. I mean, a lot of information here. You hit home, it sends you back to the home screen. Another feature that I like about this is you can go into previous vehicles, and you can either go into vehicle history, which is one of the vehicles that you worked on. I think it saves up to 25 vehicles for you, and you can actually scroll through to the vehicle that you most recently tested if you need to get information back, or you need to go back into that vehicle for retesting. So that can be handy, so you don't have to search the car, you don't have to go through its protocols, you don't have to try to figure out what year, make, model, or anything like that. You can go right back to vehicle history because you've already done it once. You can also use go back and look at save data using the snap-on button key here. It'll actually screenshot or save that data from that one thing, however you have these hotkeys configured. And that's a completely separate video as how to configure your scan tool. Me, I've left it on the default setting. If it's not broke, why fix it? So that's kind of my mentality behind it. You can delete some saved data to help clear things up for you too. If we go into the scan tool, it has a generic demo mode that you can go into, which is underneath the, I believe it's Chevrolet. Oh, they have a demonstration mode now. Used to be Chevrolet, Tahoe, etc. Now it has a demonstration button, so if you want to check out the demonstrated features and benefits of this tool, you just hit demonstration. I know you guys can't see this because it's all whited out, but this is a 2006 Chevy Tahoe 4-wheel drive with a 5.3 liter. This is just asking you to confirm that that's the vehicle that you're after, or the information that you're after for that particular vehicle. Hit OK. Demo mode, don't connect it to a vehicle. It's just letting you know so that way you're not trying to hook up this scan tool to a vehicle while you're in demo mode. In here you can do a code scan of the vehicle, see what kind of codes it has. This usually takes anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes for it to go through the entire computer systems that are available in that car, and it'll actually pull up any DTCs for whether it's the transmission module or the PCM or the body control module or whatever. You can see here we're at 72%. So this test, like I said, it's usually 1 to 3 minutes depending on the vehicle that you're working on. And so now we're at 100%. 18 systems detected. You could scroll through using the analog button, or you can push this button down, or you can slide and swipe. There's it shows you the kind of codes that you have available in this system. You can go into individual modules if you're looking for one specific module. We'll go into codes menu, display codes, all powertrain codes, and it gives us 2 codes. It gives us a P0171 fuel system 2 lean bank 1, and then a catalyst efficiency code. So this kind of gives you an idea of how long it takes to show you results. It's actually relatively quick. So anyways, lots of features and benefits here to the scan tool for sure. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't have a problem with the battery or the charge capacity on this because it charges one of 2 ways. Either it'll charge if you plug it into the DLC connector on the vehicle, it'll charge the scan tool, or you can hardwire it straight into the wall or AC plug-in, and you can charge it that way if you're playing around with it on top of your toolbox or workbench or whatever. Alright, so you got a chance to see some of the features and benefits of having the Solus Edge. I kind of touched base on a couple of those things that I liked while I was showing you guys around the scan tool itself. Now, over the years, I could tell you where I started and where I ended up, what led me to that. I first started off with nothing more than a little Actron scan tool from AutoZone, little pocket reader. From there I moved on to the C-Reader 229. I liked it for what it was. It seemed like it had a lot of capabilities between ABS bleeding as well as steering stability features and things like that. I didn't really use that feature because I didn't do alignments at the dealership, but I was needing a tool that had bidirectional controls, and that tool didn't have them. So from there I decided to move towards the MaxMe tablet. I actually really enjoyed the MaxMe tablet for, I want to say I had that thing I think for a year, close to a year. And what I liked about it was that I could program Chrysler keys, I had bidirectional control, I could email images over to the dealership, so that way they had images of either the scan data that I took a snapshot of, or of various waveforms that I saw that I thought might have been beneficial if someone was looking at fuel trim or the misfire counter or something like that. I would snapshot it, and then of course I would email it. So I actually liked the platform a fair amount. What I didn't like about it was having to pay a monthly subscription of $30 for domestics, $30 for Asian, or $30 for European every single month. Because as a Chrysler tech, I didn't run into situations where I needed to use that software throughout the month. There were some months that I didn't use any at all, so obviously I didn't pay. But then during those months that I needed it that one time, I had to pay. So to me, it was kind of an ongoing expense on top of the tool payment that I was paying to go towards that scan tool. So I started looking at other platforms. And coming from a community college that had a Snap-on based program, I started to think back at the Snap-on diagnostic scan tools that we used at the community college. And at that time I had thought, well, it's only a little bit more than what I'm already spent on this specific tool, and if I can get rid of the monthly payments, then that would be awesome. Since there was no trade-in value on my particular scan tool that I had, and the dealer for Matco Tools at the time understood my frustrations with the software crashing intermittently. The scan tool would crash, and I had software issues, and then having to pay for the subscriptions, and then all of a sudden it just led to more things. I even had to replace the wireless Bluetooth dongle that it came with twice, because that seemed to be what the issue was. And I told myself, I can't keep doing this with the scan tool. I need it to function. I'm already upset that I have to pay a monthly subscription, but now I'm having problems with the tool. So he actually took the tool back, warrantied it out for me because I had owned it for, like I said, right just under a year. He was able to send it back to the manufacturer, and they did whatever they had to do with it. And I ended up stepping into the Ethos Pro. The Ethos Pro had a lot of benefits behind it. I really liked it. It didn't have a lot of bidirectional functions. It had, I think, a couple of them at the time frame. I was able to actually actuate convertible tops and turn on and off fuel pumps and electronic cooling fans, which I thought was pretty cool, but that was pretty much its limitation. I couldn't do that for other components within the vehicle. And from that, I decided, well, maybe what I'll do, and I had got it on a slick deal. I got that and the oscilloscope for like, I want to say like $3,300 for both of them. And at that time, that was a really killer deal. Well, I had asked him if there was any way I can trade to upgrade, because I was leaving the dealership going to an independent shop. And since I knew, I was pretty novice at using a scan tool, but I knew my way around it. I knew how to use and check monitors. I knew how to actuate certain things and things like that. And I thought with going to an independent shop, I didn't know what they had for a scan tool, if you had to have your own scan tool, how that worked, because the dealership provided the Chrysler scan tools like the VCI pod and the MicroPod 2, and then they had Star Scan, and they had the DRB3, but I didn't know what the independent shops had, so I thought it would look good of me if I actually came there ready to bat, and I had an upgraded scan tool, and I could do a lot of diagnosis, or maybe I can step more into the diagnostic platform and they could show me a little bit, but I already had a really good tool. So I walked into the Solus Edge, was using it at the independent shop for the 4 months that I was there before I ended up going back to the dealership, and I didn't use it as much as I thought I would, because That wasn't my main job at the independent shop. I was there doing heavy line stuff at the time. So I used it every once in a while. I think I used it at home more because we had family and friends that would come over with their check engine lights on, and well, I could just pull the codes for them and tell them what I thought. And if they wanted me to dig into it deeper, then I could. So it really became more of an at-home scan tool. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that every technician or mechanic at some point in time is going to end up spending, I would say, a fair amount of money through trial and error trying out various scan tools. Now, I'd also received scan tools in the mail from Livia Tan, who was one of our subscribers from long ago, and I tried out a lot of series of C-readers, and I really enjoyed that product line, but they were all lacking a little something. So that's pretty much my story as far as scan tools go and how I feel about them. But you are going to end up going through trial and error, and it is going to take you a little bit before you actually find the scan tool that works best for you. My only recommendation to you, if you're a starting tech or a mechanic at a shop, is to understand what scan tools you have in front of you, understand what's available to you, and don't be in a hurry to dive into a heavy, expensive scan tool unless you know you're going to use it all the time. If you do decide to up that platform and go to the next level, just know that it's something that you're going to have to start learning on your own. You're going to have to get into the books. You are going to have to maybe check out Scanner Danner, maybe check out South Main Auto, the guys that use these scan tools all the time that go through fuel trims and things like that. You might watch their channels and help get some better direction as far as like how to better utilize that particular scan tool to become a better diagnostician. That's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the other good stuff, and we'll see you guys later.